I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys. I feel like, a lot of the reseller influencers are straight up, lying to you all. Yeah, you might be thinking now, that's a bold statement and it's a little bit contradictory because I myself am also a reseller. And when you technically look at it, I could also be considered, an influencer because through my videos, I actually influence the decisions that you make in your reselling business. I actually go out there to put out a lot of, tips and tricks to help you on your reselling journey. Yes, I understand this, but then I watch a lot of YouTube videos. It's part of my daily schedule. If I'm not on holiday like I am now, if I'm in my warehouse, if I'm driving to my warehouse, going home, driving to the post office, one thing I kind of tend to do is to take a look at YouTube videos. I can consider myself as someone that watches YouTube videos, especially, reselling related content. I can consider myself someone that kind of watches more videos than the average, YouTuber that just goes out there to, casually, watch some videos. I watch these videos, first of all, to kind of keep me company because reselling sometimes could be really, really lonely if you are in the warehouse and you are there for 6-7 hours. Sometimes it can get a little bit lonely, but then when I have these videos playing in the background, I kind of feel like I'm in a conversation. I kind of hear people's perspective on different stuff, and because of that I can actually compare and contrast and make this statement that look, majority of the resellers out there that pose as influencers here on YouTube are straight up lying to you. I'm not saying that they are lying for the fact that you can make money selling on the internet. As a matter of fact, I can confirm that. Quick disclosure, you can actually make a lot of money reselling. 2025, this career or whatever you call it, profession, is not dead. You can actually make money, reselling stuff on the internet, reselling clothing, reselling books, reselling electronics, use electronics like myself, computers, laptops, all manner of toys. You can make money. You will be shocked at the amount of money that is being turned over on a platform like eBay. Just eBay alone. I'm considering Amazon, not considering Whatnot, Vinted, so many other sites like that. You see, there is a lot of transactions going on a daily basis. People are buying these stuffs. New stuffs are being sold. Used stuffs are being sold. There is no gainsaying the fact that yes, you can actually make money reselling. But then look at where the technical lie comes in. Somebody comes onto the platform to masquerade as a reseller, try to make you feel like everything is kind of easy, make some content that makes you feel like reselling is just something that you can actually handle with kids glove. And at the end of the day, the reseller makes a lot of entertaining video because, truth be said, I don't even know if this video is going to get a lot of views because it's just the way the world works. If I come here to tell you the reality of things, to paint the picture that makes you feel like this is going to be not something I would want to attempt because it's so difficult, you're not going to watch the video. People are not going to click on the video, and this algorithm called the YouTube algorithm is not going to push that video because it sees that people are not watching the videos to the end. This is just the way it is, and this is why when somebody comes to kind of entertain you, to tell you that look, oh, this is so easy, I just went out there, I grabbed some few stuffs, I brought them home and I sold them chin-chan for $20, chin-chan for $50, for $70, you are going to be entertained. And because you are entertained, you want to watch those videos to the end. And when the YouTube algorithm sees that people like you are watching these videos to the end, they take that video and push it even further. And whoever has made that video keeps smiling to the bank because he understands that the YouTube partner program, which is the monetization program on YouTube, actually pays for those views. So it makes a lot of sense. I mean, some logical sense if a content creator is going to masquerade as a reseller, tell you every beautiful thing that you want to hear because you have actually shown that you do not want to hear, the negative side of reselling. You do not want to hear the true story. You do not want to see the reality. The time you spend, trying to build a reselling business. You only want to see the items that were sold, the kind of bolo items that you can buy, the thrift stores that you can go to and buy things today and flip it for 50 euros. The earpods that you can actually go ahead and buy, the necklaces, the watches that you can buy and just flip. You can buy for 10 euros and flip them for 300 euros. This is what you have actually unconsciously given to the algorithm that you want to see. you want to hear, and the algorithm is going to push you those kind of videos. And some resellers have kind of figured it out that, look, this is just a game. We have to give to the people what the people want, and they are not failing in their duty to actually push this kind of content to you. For somebody to come out here, make a video to try to entertain you, the person is going to gain either way. The algorithm is going to reward this content creator, the videos will be pushed, and the more views this video gets, this content creator that isn't even a reseller at the end of the day, it's going to be paid even more than what a reseller will get. You might be wondering now, how do you know this content creator will be paid more? Guys, I have 3 YouTube channels. I have a tech channel, and I also manage a channel where we make tractor videos. See, the arrow on the tractor videos is so good that a video that gets not even viral, just a little bit successful on the platform, gets a lot of money, back, because these videos are hard to create and there's just not much competition when it comes to, tractors and the use of tractors in the forest. The competition is so reduced. Because of that, when these videos are made, they get a lot of views. I do not know what happens in the reselling niche, but I understand that this also, technically fall into the make money online niche, which also pays a lot of RPM for videos produced on the platform. And because of that, it just makes a business sense for somebody to look at the whole game and say, you know what, I'm going to continue to come here, make videos about reselling, but at the end of the day, my ultimate goal is to actually benefit from the views that I get on the platform. Guys, don't get me wrong, I'm also here on YouTube to make money, and it's actually not a bad game to play, which is to make videos to try to get views. This is not a bad game to play. At the end of the day, we are all looking for ways to make money. But for somebody to actually come out here, or for a lot of people to begin to jump on this bandwagon and imagine that, look, we can actually begin to make content around reselling that actually doesn't reflect the true situation of things. This is exactly what I consider people, in this case resellers, are lying to you. And it is my responsibility to try to sometimes, come here and balance things up. Of course, if I make my channel all around just complaining about the fact that you are being lied to, it's also not going to be a good thing. I make different kind of content. I make, content, showing you what I have actually sold on eBay, what I'm working on, returns that people are sending back to me. When things are working, when things are kind of booming, I come here to tell you. But one thing I always do is to always try to balance my content. And what do I mean by balancing my content? When I give a lot of content about the successes that you can actually find selling on eBay or whatever platform you sell on, Facebook Marketplace, TikTok, stuff like that, I also take time to make a video, that paints the true picture of things. And what is the true picture of things is a question that I really do think you might be wanting to ask me right now. The true picture of things is that, look, first of all, reselling is a beautiful thing, a beautiful activity to be involved in. Another picture that is consciously not being talked about is the fact that this thing called reselling can literally wipe you out from everything, can literally suck up all your time. I'm talking about you that have decided that, look, reselling is going to be my hobby. As a matter of fact, if you watch this channel, my videos are not intended, for hobby resellers. My videos are intended for those of you that have said, I want to build a business. I want to build something that I can, constantly fall back to get some money from. I want to build something that's going to last the test of time. And reselling has been proven to be a very solid, business model. And my video is intended for you that want to succeed, doing reselling as a business. All right, if you want to take up a business, you are going to spend an untold amount of time doing it. See, most of these videos that we see on YouTube, they're kind of compressed. Somebody goes to the thrift store and then the video has a cut. Person's already at home with the goods, has a cut. The goods are already being cleaned. The video has a cut, and sometimes the videos are already listed without you seeing what was done behind the scene. And then the next thing you see is that the items have been sold. Guys, this is a major compression of the fact. Most times this timeline doesn't just happen like that. First of all, it's going to take you a long time to actually go to a thrift store and find something decent, something that you can actually turn around to flip on eBay. See, we are living in a time where there are so much competitions out there. People want to just look for a way to actually make money. People are tired of their 9-to-5 jobs. They want to look for an alternative way to make money. And because of that, everybody is saying that reselling pretty much is something that you can actually start. The effort that you have to put in upfront, it's not so, bad or deadly, permit me to use that word, compared to some other things. Like if you want to learn to become a software developer, man, you are going to literally go through the eye of a needle to become good enough to take on client jobs. All right. But reselling, if you have shown some, signs of hard work, you know how to wake up in the morning, you have gotten that, go-getter spirit, you're able to go out there and try to see what you can get and flip for profit. You have a little bit of, research skills to see what have sold on the platform for the past, I don't know, 2-3 months. You can actually get things rolling. Because of that, a lot of people want to do reselling as a side hustle, and this has just resulted in a natural situation where you have a lot of competition, people wanting to, put their feet on the door of reselling and make it work. And because of that, you now have a situation where you go out to thrift and you kind of find out that there are not so many items to buy that can actually, sell for good amount of money. And most times, the thrift stores have also realized that, why not just put these same items on eBay? Why do I have to sell it for €2 to somebody that's going to come around, a reseller that will buy them and go to a platform like eBay and try to sell them for profit? Why don't we also just put the items there? And the reality is that most of the thrift stores now, they have eBay shops. And whenever they come across, interesting items, talking about Hot Wheels, these items that are being donated to them, that they know the price of these items on eBay, they rather take these items, try to maximize their profits and list it themselves in their eBay shop and try to sell it themselves for profit. And these are stuff that you are going to be coming to terms with. You see, if you are not told, you might be thinking it's a lot of sunshine and rainbow out there. Because of that, you can just, quit your job, go out and buy some stuff and come home and sell them and already become self-employed, become that millionaire that you dream of. Guys, it might not just happen like that, because the reality is that you are going to be having a major problem finding good inventories. And if you even want to go the route of buying inventory in bulk from some of these online marketplaces, guys, there's also a learning curve to that. You might have to lose money in the beginning, and you might really have to be determined to still stay in business after losing money. And sometimes something that I also find, not everybody talks about, is the fact that you can actually go ahead and buy some Amazon returns. You sell half of the content, and then somewhere in your warehouse are left like half of these same bulk goods that you bought. You are not able to sell them. So many parts are missing. Because of that, you want to sell them as scrap items. People are not even ready to take it from you. These are some of the realities. And then talking about the time investment of being a reseller, guys, from my experience, sometimes you work more than you would normally do if you just had a 9-to-5 job. And that is not the problem, but the problem is you might be paid less considering the amount of time you have spent. If you had a 9-to-5 job, you've done, 8 hours, you can be smiling to the bank knowing that you will be paid according to the number of hours you have put in. But in reselling, sometimes you're going to be paid even less. Sometimes you're going to be paid pretty much €0 or $0 if you are not careful, especially when you are just getting to know how everything works. This is the reality, and people do not talk about this. In fact, this is just not all the realities. People also return goods that they buy on the marketplaces. Somebody's going to buy your laptop, say for example, it's going to buy your desktop PCs. If you sell cameras, somebody's going to buy that camera. You're going to spend a lot of time, effort shipping out the camera, only for the buyer to turn around and say, you know what, I do not like this camera, I want to send it back. And you are obligated to actually, take back the return. And sometimes these items are going to be sent to you in a manner that is so disrespectful. The item might be shabbily packed, might be destroyed during transportation, and when you receive it, it's not so easy to just start to now make a case with eBay and want to tell eBay or whatever platform you even sell out that, look, these items have been returned in such a way that I do not like. Because of that, I don't want to issue a refund. Guys, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes you have to choose some of these things and just say to yourself, yes, it is what it is. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to go ahead and issue a return. And of course, there are videos here on YouTube that also document the fact that there are some disgruntled buyers out there that might want to scam you of your hard-earned money. Everything is possible in this day and age. But these are the things that people do not talk about. Yes, like I said, it's so easy to talk about the beautiful aspect of reselling, the fact that you can make money, doing this business, the fact that you can actually, be self-employed. You do not have to report to a boss. But this is not all sunshine and rainbow. There is a hard part of reselling that seller influencers often don't talk about. And this is exactly what I am talking about, which is the lie that you are being sold. It's my intention that gradually, as I make content on this platform, I will try as much as I can to balance things, to make sure that you have a clearer picture of what it really takes to become a reseller. Now, if you want to go the YouTube route, of course, you can also be a content creator. But then it is my humble plea that when you make your reselling videos, yes, talk about your wins, talk about the things that you've sold, but talk about what systems needs to be in place for you to be able to pull this off. Some people, they have a supporting husband, you know, they married to somebody that works full-time, somebody that is really well employed, talking about an IT professional, a medical doctor. And some people, they just have, you know, natural advantages. They're living with their parents, and because of this, their situations is highly different. And people also don't talk about these things because your situation of life, you know, the chapter of life that you are in also has a way of influencing how successful you're going to be as a reseller. Also, it also has a way of influencing the amount of time you have left to do reselling. If you have to work a full-time job, you've got 3 kids, you've got to pay your house rent alone, you've got to put food on the table for your kids, you're going to help your kids with going to their football training, you know, you're going to cook for them. Guys, this is the reality. It might not be possible for you, and because you might watch these videos and think that yes, there are some people, they have kids, they've not got a husband, they're able to do this job. Because of that, you can also do it. Of course, you can, but the thing is, you are going to be making a lot of major sacrifices to be able to pull this off. And also, there is the advantages that people also enjoy, that they can actually get inventories from a source that you can pretty much call exclusive. You know, these are sources that are kind of offline. You don't find them online. You try to Google this source, you don't get it. You check everywhere, you don't find this source. But people have this contact. They have a way of getting, you know, hundreds, 200s of just a particular t-shirt, for example, or a particular kind of shoe, or a particular kind of laptops. They have a way of getting it, which already gives them an unfair advantage. And they come here, they try to tell you that yes, they just went to a thrift store and they got this. Guys, it doesn't work like that. As is my intention with my videos, that with every opportunity I have, I try to remind you that look, sometimes I was able to pull this off as an experienced hand, or these things you see me do took me years of sacrifice, sometimes pain, to actually pull off. Of course, it's something that you can do if you have told yourself, I'm ready to put in the work, I am ready to do whatever it takes to become successful, and you are cool with the fact that there's going to be a lot of sacrifice to be made, a lot of pain episodes to go through. But then if you do not give up, you are ultimately going to find success. Until I see you again in the next video. Peace.